Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jeff and this is JT Trains, and I got a special choo-choo review for you. It's not just a locomotive, it's a set. I have an MTH, Pennsylvania Railroad, General Motors, EMD, Aerotrain. This thing is beautiful, it's futuristic, which makes it look like it's fast, which everybody loves. Some brief history about General Motors Aerotrain is it was made in 1955 and it was an attempt to help the railroads turn a profit on passenger service by making the trains lightweight, fully fixed together so you don't have where you can uncouple them whenever you want. It was all one fixed train. It was made of aluminum so it could be lighter weight, which means more fuel efficient. It could be faster. The cars were only 40 feet long compared to the standard 80 foot long of the time, which again, it saved weight. And at the end, so what they were trying to do was trying to save weight, make it more efficient, and trying to bring people back to the rails because everybody was going either car or airplane at the time. The locomotive, to me, it just reminds me of a B-17 bomber from World War II. I mean, just look at the long nose and the canopy up here. It just looks like an airplane. It just looks fast. I mean, this is the 50s. They're going for the jet age. We got the slooping back end and everything. Sleek aluminum siding on it. And then as later on, I'll show you in the video, the coaches are made from intercity bus bodies. And then the rear fin car, oh man, that thing's cool. This thing is just gorgeous if you love the 50s styling of the jet age. The locomotive had a 1200 horsepower prime mover, the same motor that was used in the SW1200 switcher that EMD put out at that time. The coaches were intercity bus bodies from GM, similar to Greyhound buses. They had a 40-seat capacity, and each one of them rode on a revolutionary air suspension over each axle, which was supposed to make it comfortable and a smooth ride, but actually gave it the complete opposite. People on the train said that they felt like they were going to be thrown from the train, how rickety and bouncy it was. The rear car, or as most train sets are, the observation car, still incorporated the intercity bus body, but on the back they added this piece that just to me looks like a 55 Chevy Nomad in the back. These beautiful fins here. They got these tail lights right here with the GM in the center. I think it's just beautiful. People could just sit right there, just like your old station wagon you used to. You could face out the back trunk tailgate and just watch as you go on down the rails. The Aerotrain was used on many different railroads, including the Pennsylvania Railroad, the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe, or ATSF, the New York Central, the Union Pacific, and then it ended with the Rock Island Railroad as the last owners that actually bought them from General Motors and kept them for about 10 years in service before they were retired. There was 3 Aerotrain sets ever produced by General Motors and in history. They were a 10-car contest with the locomotive. Only 2 locomotives and about 2 cars each survive to this day, and they are on display at 2 museums. The National Railroad Museum in Green Bay, Wisconsin has a set, and the National Museum of Transportation in Kirkwood, Missouri near St. Louis has the other set. And they are still painted up in the Rock Island livery because they were the last owners to operate them. The Aerotrain was a very cool concept. It just turned out to be a really rough riding locomotive. It was very underpowered, the prime mover. They usually had to have a lot of help pulling over steep grades and everything when they were out. And it just wasn't a good look, unfortunately. I mean, I think it's a beautiful looking train set and everything. It just wasn't the right time, I guess. Maybe if it was executed a lot better, we'd still see them on the rails today. But at least they're still the real deal sitting at museums so we can see them. But the good thing is we don't have to worry about it with this model by MTH, which we're going to go over now. This MTH model of the Aerotrain, and to my knowledge, they are the only ones that have made the Aerotrain in O-scale. And this one, unfortunately, they're made Premier. It's only in Railking. So this is one of only 2 pieces of Railking I have in my collection. This is a beautiful model regardless. It has die-cast trucks, frame on all the cars and the locomotive, Art Deco ABS bodies on the whole consist. It's got directional headlights. It's got 2 motors over this truck and over this one. There is no interior light, and I think the reason why is because the motor sits right here. You don't even have any cab figures, so that's probably the reason why they didn't have a light in it. It does have smoke ports for the smokestack, but unfortunately this does not have a smoke unit, which down the road I would love to put a smoke unit in it because smoke units make everything better. It's got the beautiful Penske paint scheme on it, number 1000, just like in real life it was. With this being a Railking model, there is not a whole lot of added on detail. It mainly is molded. Like all these screens, the doors, the rivet detail, it's all molded in. Your only add-on pieces are the headlight area up here, this horn, this fan is added in. It doesn't move or anything, it's just added in. The lift rings, they're added. The diaphragms, they're added on, but mostly it's all molded in, which is fine. They got a good bit of the rivet detail and everything. It looks really good for being Railking. I think so. I mean, yeah, it would have been nice to have a little more detail, but it is a Railking model, so you're not going to have that much detail. In the actual Aerotrain set, you only get 2 coaches and the rear observation car. They had an add-on coach. I bought the add-on coach, and the add-on coach for this set's number is 301. The cool thing about these coaches is since they are intercity bus bodies, like actual public system buses, here's a little tidbit. They even have a bathroom in this back part of the car here. They have a bathroom on all the buses back in the day. Well, they had the bathrooms in the cars on the trains sets actually also. And MTH went that extra step to have a little bathroom in here. You see a sink and you see a toilet sitting right back here. But that's a really cool idea they did. MTH says that this set can run on a minimal curve of 0.31. That might be correct, but if it was me, I would not. And the reason why is these are 0.60s. And it still binds a little bit, not a lot. Because see, this is really weird. Okay, so the locomotive's front lead truck and the back, they pivot. But on the cars, the coaches and the observation car, they are fixed. Here, I'll show you. There they are. They don't turn. They are a fixed design, which means they are not going to be able to curve with the curve. Kind of funny how I said that, but yeah, that's the only issue I see. I guess it was just cheaper, or maybe it was, I don't know what reasoning, but I do notice that it binds a little bit, so I would not try to run these on tighter curves. I mean, some people might have better luck, but me, I can feel it. I could just feel that it binds up the locomotive a little bit when it runs. So the better the curve, I think, will make it look more realistic, and it will lessen the binding issue. But it does say that they run on 0.31 minimum track curve. MTH did include these like side skirts, and they're kind of cool. They sit like that. It looks really nice. I had them on here, but I had to take them off because with how this sits so far back on the body, you could see my problem. It was hitting here, and it would cause it to bind up on the curves. So to make it a little better, I had to take these off. I mean, it's really a shame, because I think it looks so much better with the side skirt on it. But in order for the locomotive to run better, you have to do what you gotta do. But these are packaged with the locomotive and the hardware to attach it. All you have to do is there's screws underneath the truck frame here, and when you take them off, to pop this whole assembly off, there's little screw holes here. And they'll just go on top, and you tighten them down, and then you got skirts on the side. We're gonna fire up the MTH Aerotrain using the DCS. I have it, PRR Aerotrain number 1000. We're gonna hit more, and like always, we're gonna do an extended startup. So let's get her started up.
Is she ready to go? Standards are all full. All levels good. There's one check down. Okay. We're ready to pull out.
Alright. Alright, some sounds of the locomotive. Let's do the bell first. One of my favorite parts, the horn. And now let's go over some of the sounds of the locomotive. This one has some really cool dialogue, like local areas that it stopped at for being Pennsylvania area.
Check the air conditioning and heating system. Hey, give me a read on the fuel, will you? Oil level's good. Thanks, bud.
Now arriving from Philadelphia on track 1, the Aerotrain. Now departing from Pittsburgh on track 1, the Aerotrain. This stop is Paoli. This stop is Lancaster. This stop is Harrisburg. This stop is Altoona.
All brake lines are good. You're clear. You can depart anytime. Emergency response checked out at 70 PSI. Service response checked out, okay.
And this also has a really funny one that MTH puts in a lot of their training sets. And I just think it's really cool. The only bad part is it'll just die, but I mean, it does go well with what the sound is. It's called Trainwreck.
What was that? We're on the ground. Quick, jump the air. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm all right. Who turned out the light?
Them poor guys are having a terrible time. We're having a better time here in the train room, at least. So I'm going to fire it back up again. Well, these people in these cars are waiting, so we gotta get them to their destination. So let's roll her out. Well, after a long day of hauling people that have been bounced and hitting their heads on the roofs and everything from the rough riding Aerotrain, it's time to shut her down.
How's she been running? She ran great, thanks. Make sure the sand bins are topped off. I'll see you next shift.
This is a beautiful model from MTH. It is actually one of my most favorite trains ever in history. I just love the sleek design. I'm a big fan of the 40s and 50s Art Deco Jet Age theming. It's just a gorgeous set. I really wish it would have took an awful lot better and wish it was a little more comfortable for patrons, but unfortunately it's not. But it's part of our history and it's just awesome. Me being a big General Motors fan, this was definitely one of my favorite trains growing up, and looking in books and on videos and everything. It's just really cool to have a set. Like I said, this is a Railking. It is MTH has released it a few times. They released it in the Pennsylvania Railroad, the Union Pacific, the New York Central, and the Rock Island. So they released it in all 4 of those railroads. Personally, me being close to the Pennsylvania line and how much heritage Pennsylvania Railroad has, I had to go with Pennsy. I mean, just you get the beautiful Keystone shield on the front. I mean, what else can you ask for? In my opinion, they should have made one for the Burlington, but that's just my opinion. But in closing, it's a beautiful set. Like I said, I had the add-on coach. You guys can, if you can find them, they're not that easy to find. Finding the set alone, but then finding the add-on cars, it definitely makes it worth it having a longer set. But in closing, I just want to thank you guys for joining me. Oh, and one more tidbit about this set. Since it was made to be a fixed set like the real train set, there is no operating couplers. All of them are solid couplers. They do not open. Just so a little tidbit on that. So you don't have your proto couplers on the set or anything. But in closing, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. This is my first train set review, not just a locomotive. And what better way to kick it off than the beautiful Aerotrain. I just want to thank you guys for joining me today. My name is Jeff, and this is JG Trains, signing off.